Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Summer's the vacation season. It's the time when we try to set aside a week or two to spend with our family, relaxing and making wonderful memories. At least that's how it looks in our heads. Today we're talking about planning and enjoying a family vacation, managing expectations, family bonding, and ways to make the experience more fun. We'll give you our best tips for saving money on travel, accommodations, and meals, as well as ways to make car trips more fun, when to splurge, and how vacations change as kids grow and leave home. Let's get started. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Marie.
Hey, Mindy.
Hey, Marie.
I'm so glad to see you guys today.
It's so good to see you.
Yes.
Yeah, good to see you girls.
We've got a great topic today. Now that we are fully into summer here in Nashville, we are going to be talking all about family vacations. We're going to be talking about the planning, expectations, ways to make it fun, family bonding, just all those things, because we all know that family vacation can either be really great or it can resemble the movie Vacation.
Oh. Oh, poor Chevy Chase.
I know.
We've never left Grandma on the back of the car yet.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So we're doing good.
Yeah.
But before we get to all that, we have got some exciting news for our listeners. You guys, if you've been listening since the beginning, you know that last August, Mindy moved from Knoxville, Tennessee to near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And she has been living in a townhouse that was provided by her husband's work, basically 3 bedrooms, an eating area in the living room, and a small kitchen.
That's right.
And she has 5 people living there full time. And then when her college-age daughter is home, she has 6 people. So it's a tight squeeze. But if you listened to our last episode, you know that she had just gotten a contract on her house. And now she is here to officially say that she has closed. Mindy, give us all the details.
Yes. Praise the Lord. We are mortgage free. My husband and I went and moved everything out of our house last week. We closed on our house last week and we are now homeless.
Homeless in a good way, though.
We are happily homeless people. So thankful. And the timing was so perfect because even with still having children at home, we had just moved Abby Ray home from college. And so when our house went under contract, we already had somebody here to take care of the boys and help keep them on schedule.
That's amazing.
And we could just leave. And honestly, it helped her transition home. If you listen to our college episode, you hear that sometimes transitions of college students in and out of the house can be a little hairy. But I think with Bryce and I out of the way last week, the kids just really bonded without us. They pulled together. She cooked. She loved being able to be domestic. And now she's planning to leave and go spend some time with her friend near Washington, D.C. And she wants to be 19 again.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, we are now full on looking for a house here. I'm so thankful to be at this point.
All of a sudden, it was like from Easter till just last week. It was so quick.
You're right. Actually, they came, and it's funny. Bryce is going to laugh, but I'm telling you that on air. I want all of our listeners to know. On Easter Sunday, we were all at our home in Tennessee, enjoying it, really now for the last time. And we got a last minute showing. I said, absolutely, yes, come to the house. And Abby and I, we had been out for a walk. We ran home. We hurried up and scurried. That was the one day I let my guard down. And I thought, who's looking for a house on Easter Sunday? Right? No, nobody's shopping for a house on Easter Sunday. Well, apparently so. And so Bryce was like, nobody's going to buy a house on Easter Sunday. He said, if I would have gotten the notification for a showing, I would have said no.
Oh, really?
And I said, I hope you eat your words for the rest of our lives.
And now he will.
I said he will. And so he's laughing listening to this now because, yes, Bryce, we sold our house on Easter Sunday.
Yes.
And I told you I would happily remind you of that for the rest of our marriage.
And how wonderful. I'm sure he's happy to eat those words. He's glad to do that.
We just laugh about it. It's a happy laughing. Yes.
Yes. Well, that is amazing. All right. Well, we need to get down to our topic, family vacations. And as I said earlier, summer is the vacation season. And it's the time when we try to set aside a week or two to spend with our family, in quotes, relaxing and making wonderful memories. At least that's how we hope it all goes. Today, we're going to be talking about planning and enjoying a family vacation, ways to make it more like the fantasies in your head and less, like we said earlier, Vacation, the movie. One of the things we wanted to establish beforehand is what are the benefits of getting away together as a family, whether you go a couple hours from your home or you make a big cross the ocean trip. There are benefits to getting away together as a family, I think, no matter where you choose to go.
For me, I think it just provides uninterrupted time together. It's just a chance to slow down and enjoy life. And I think when you kind of step outside your normal routine, normally everybody's kind of going their own direction, but when you step outside of that routine, you kind of pull together, and it's just a great chance to create memories that you'll never forget, and things don't always go as planned, but that's okay. I found that kind of like childbirth, after some time passes, you can laugh about those. You can laugh about the mishaps too,
Right. Good way to put that.
Yes, yes. I agree with you, Julie. I think that with teenagers in the house, I think like it's an awesome time to spend time with them away from their friends. They have the chance to disconnect from peer pressure. You think, oh, well, school's out, so there's not a lot of peer pressure, but they're constantly comparing themselves with friends on Instagram, Snapchat. Like they all know what each other's doing, even if they're not together.
Right.
Yeah,
and
true.
I think that it really gives them a chance, especially if you can get somewhere where there's no cell service. But that would be the best. But I think that you definitely have deeper conversations. And I love that you're eating all your meals together and you're doing all your daily activities together.
And back on the teen thing, maybe if you stay in town, your kids may not want to spend time with you as much, like teens. They might feel judged, like seeing with their parents.
Right.
But if you're on vacation, that's acceptable. That's normal.
Right.
So I think it's just it's a good way to spend time with teenage kids.
Oh, I know. I even love the car ride with the family, and like you said, all of the meals. I love getting rid of the schedules that everybody has. Now that we have children that have jobs, everybody's off and your sole focus is just, how do we want to have fun together? Mm-hmm. And so then all these new interactions, it's like, okay, well, I feel like we can try new foods. I feel like we can try new adventures and just seeing each other in a different light. I feel like we're not so much parenting, but like learning about each other in different ways than what we've seen each other during the school year, with the normal routine.
Yes.
Yeah, it is one of my favorite times. And it's certainly changed, as we'll learn as we talk. It's changed through the years so much.
I also feel like it's a deepening of the sibling bonds because they have to interact with each other. There are no friends around. It's I either do this activity with my sibling or I do it alone.
Yeah, and they come back with inside jokes and things that they talk about for years,
Right.
Yeah. Just getting to see firsthand that people everywhere are basically the same. That we kind of all want the same thing. We enjoy peace and time with our family and laughing, and people are proud of their city or their heritage and really want to share it with you. Like most people we encounter are kind.
Right.
They can experience new foods, try things they wouldn't have tried before, things that are especially places that are culturally very different than home.
Right.
Another thing that I thought about was when traveling, especially with maybe older teens or adult children, you kind of step outside of your normally defined roles. Like you may have your child figuring out the best subway route. Or I remember when Molly was in Europe and we met her, she just led us through the city, whereas all I could think about is we used to hold your hand on vacation so you wouldn't get lost. Yeah. And now you're basically holding our hand, like we didn't know where to go. And she hadn't even been to the city yet, but she just knew how to do it, And she was like, no, we just need to get here. That was just a neat thing to see. If you're at the beach, kids can help prep meals, you don't have to stick to your defined roles. They can help drive, when they're older. So that's kind of fun.
It is. And I don't know about you guys, my Enneagram is 1. So if anyone is into the Enneagram, that is kind of all the ducks in the row, perfectionist, follow the rules type of personality. But if you read about the Enneagram 1, when they're on vacation, they tend to move towards 7, which is the fun, enthusiast personality. And I really find that to be true about myself. When I'm not at home having to worry about so many different little things, on vacation, I feel like I'm more able to be just like, oh, whatever, like whatever we eat, fine, or whatever, wherever we go, fine, or I can be more flexible on what time I go to bed, or I mean, there's just so many different things that I notice about myself on vacation, and I think that's probably true of a lot of people. So you get to see your family members in a different light.
Yeah, I'm fun Julie on vacation.
Oh, that's funny.
I think probably all moms are more fun on vacation. That's probably true.
Yeah, with the caveat that your kids are older and you're no longer worried about losing them or, something like that. We have some horror stories in our family from earlier vacations.
Yes.
So I got fun once my kids stopped trying to, get lost and fall in cactus.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, and I think new experiences bring out different skills too. Like we have my daughter-in-law, Kayla. She's just really good at wanting to stay on schedule and formatting a plan. It just kills her when we stand on a street corner going, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? I don't know. And then we make a plan and everybody stands there. Nobody moves, nobody. And it's just like this amoeba. We can't get it moving. And she's like, okay, we're going here and we need to be there in 30 minutes. So we've kind of jokingly called her our cruise director when we're on vacation together.
Yes. And so that's a compliment,
her that role, Yes, it's like, Kayla, keep us on track. Because we know what we want to do, but we just can't get everybody moving.
Well, and I think sometimes family members are better able to take direction from somebody outside the immediate family. It's like, Kayla, you tell them to do that. Because if I tell them, they're going to balk. But if you tell them, they'll go along with it. So we definitely want to get away together as a family. We know we need to do it, but the expectations get me every time. I go into vacation with sky high expectations. We are going to see all these things. We're going to do all these things. We're going to wake up at the crack of dawn. We're going to maximize. Like I know I just said that I'm fun on vacation, but I want to see and do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I expect that we're all going to get along. Like, I don't know, what are the pitfalls of expectations, Mindy?
Like, you really think that you've spent all this time and money planning for this experience, this place, and you expect that your children are going to be just as excited as you are to do those things or to leave town, and they aren't always excited to go.
No, they are not.
Like some of my kids are, kind of homebodies, and they're like, I just would rather stay home, or they don't like to travel. Like my son Grant, he loves to go to the beach, but he really hates driving there.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's just like, and he does well in the van with everybody. That is not his favorite thing. He's like, oh, don't have your feelings hurt when somebody's not as excited as you are about whatever it is. Because sometimes it takes a little time for everyone to get into vacation mode. Even like for our husbands to leave work behind, like to get from work brain
transition time.
Yeah, to vacation brain, or from school brain to vacation brain, wherever you're at in life. I think you have to know that there are going to be disagreements. Make sure you have plenty of food, water, and regularly scheduled meals. That will really help, I think, in the argument category.
Yes.
I would say keep your expectations anchored in reality. You are still the same family on vacation that you are at home. Why would you expect to be different? It's not like you can leave the less than ideal parts at home and just take the good,
Right.
It's totally unrealistic to escape all the troublesome aspects of your family dynamics. And I'm saying this from experience. I am like you, Marie. I have very high expectations for trips. I want to see it all, do it all. And I just think we're going to have perfect weather. We're going to have, everything's just going to go as planned. But after our trip last summer, which we had 7 of us in Europe for 2 weeks, that's a lot of people to make happy, a lot of people to move around,
right.
A lot of people to get tired.
There's a lot of food choices amongst 7 people.
Yes. And I remember before we left, Molly and I travel more similarly than the rest. And we were joking like, oh, we just got started in this museum. And then everybody says they're hungry. It's like, come on, can we not just pull a Cliff Bar out, people, and just keep going, And we were joking about that a lot. And then I noticed my older son started saying, oh, I guess mom thinks we can just live on a Cliff Bar, And he would start around meal times. He'd start saying things like that. It was really bothering him that I wasn't thinking he needed a meal. So once I changed my mind, okay, we're going to go and eat this meal, sit down for 2 hours, whatever, but that's what he needed. So we all had to learn to accommodate each other.
One thing that we like to talk about beforehand, and now that two of mine are really beyond my control, I lightly joke about it, but there's so much better about it now, too. There is hope for cell phone screen use as your kids get older. But one thing we like to talk about beforehand is expectations related to phones. I am expecting that when we are on these tours, you will not be looking at your phone, or I'm expecting that in every restaurant meal, we are not going to be looking at our phones. I told the girls when we went to Disney World over spring break, I said, and while we're waiting in line, we are not, I know the lines are long, but we are not just going to sit there on our phones the whole time. And man, that is hard. That's really hard. It's hard for me to stand there for an hour and a half and think of something to say.
Our kids get on to us. Our kids aren't on their phones, but they're like, Dad's on his phone again.
Yes.
Well.
Yes.
Or Mom, I have my phone because I'm always taking pictures. So they're always miffed at that. But
yes.
Right.
I think everybody.
Like, Mom, you would enjoy it more if you weren't taking pictures. You'd be in the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I think talking about those things beforehand really, because otherwise I'll start to feel resentful. I don't know. Have you ever done that, Julie or Mindy? Have you ever said we're going to be without phones? Or
Oh, yes. We have to tell them. We learned when the kids are little, to set expectations for them. Look, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. We do respect that you want to have time on your phone. We respect that you want to have time alone. So these are your times to do that. But these other times you're with us.
That was the ideal thing about the cruise.
Yes.
And cruises may have total free Wi-Fi now. I don't know. But when we went on our cruise, our kids were teenagers and there was no phone. I mean, no phone use at all. And 2 and 3 hour dinners together. It was just a mom's dream.
I loved it. And they still we did not pay for Wi-Fi when we went on our cruise for that reason. You can pay.
So it's still optional
for it. Yeah. But no, we were like, that's part of the benefit.
Mm-hmm. And, our kids said they loved it too, because I think they feel an obligation, just like we do, to answer a text or respond. And that way they just didn't have to. They were free of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Another thing that I like to talk about beforehand is what we're going to do about pictures. Because when we go on vacation, there's, if it's at the beach in particular, there's going to be one night where we want to get some nice pictures. And so we talk about, what do I want you to bring to wear, especially for the boys? Like, I don't want to find out that you didn't bring anything to wear in a picture. And then this is what we're doing, and this is how long it will be, and this is what I expect. I expect you to take pictures with this person, this group, smile on your face. It will be over soon, and then we will go for ice cream or, whatever.
Yes, I will reward your behavior.
Yeah, because I don't know how many pictures we have, and this is hard to do when kids are younger, but it's like right before the picture was snapped, you're saying things like, if you don't smile right now, you are going to be in so much trouble. Like, because you've spent all this time getting ready and you're out here and pull yourself together.
Some bad memories of pictures. Like, I can look at this beautiful picture and think, ooh, I remember exactly what happened before that was shot. And it's not good.
I know. Like, I look at pictures and Abby's eyes are still red. She had been crying.
Again, listeners, this gets better as your kids get older. Like, we don't have anybody crying before pictures anymore.
Maybe not.
No, Julie, it hasn't gotten better in your house.
Tonight we were out for Andrew's birthday and it was at this beautiful place. And I said, I want some pictures. And he rolls his eyes. Do we have to? And then he's making faces and I said, this is just taking longer because you're not cooperating. And then I wanted other pictures at the table. And he goes, Mom, people are watching us take pictures. I said, no, they're not. They could care less about us.
Yeah.
It really, with some children, it does not get better.
That family picture at the beach is stressful, and I always have a little anxiety thinking about it, but then I feel this pressure that we have to do it. So, Marie, I don't even tell the boys to pack clothes. I go and pick everybody's stuff out before the trip.
Yeah.
I pre-plan it. Now, Abby has a say-so, but we all kind of coordinate.
Right.
Well, one year I did not have, it got to a point where they didn't want to do the pictures. They weren't going to wear the white polos and the khakis anymore. You know, they were at a teenage years. And I remember, I think one boy had a tie-dyed shirt on.
Right.
Nothing matched. So I turned those pictures into black and whites, and they are some of our best pictures because then the colors did not matter, and they were great.
Yeah.
So that's a good tip, is make black and white.
That's a great idea, Julie.
Yes, that is a great idea. All right, so what's some advice that you guys have for making road trips more pleasant with older kids or young adults?
So I'll start off and I'll talk about minivan trips with the 6 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we are old pros when it comes to traveling long distances in our minivan. And so thankfully we have a DVD player. So what we do is we schedule the day. Typically Bryce enjoys driving early mornings. So we always leave at like 4 a.m. And everyone basically crawls out of bed and goes back to sleep in the van. We have packed the van the night before, and we have all prepared. Like I said before that I buy them a new book before vacation. So we've got their new book in there. But also, if there's a season of a show we binge watch, we have the DVD player in the van. And so like we binge watched Monk one time, but we'll also have music time. We'll have quiet time. Everyone likes to have a nap time during the day if we're still on the road. So I really set a schedule for the van, and everyone knows it. Like they fall into line and they enjoy knowing, oh, okay, this is phone time. This is put my phone down time. And this is, watch this, whatever.
That's a great idea.
So, yeah, we schedule the hours in the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. We used to drive to Colorado every year, and it's a 2-day drive. And when they were little, I mean, I had crafts even, in the car. We had audio books, snacks, movies, but we did schedule and rotate it. Because even if we weren't finished with the craft or finished with this, we're like, okay, let's put this up. So nobody really got bored with it, because if you do something too long, it just gets boring. But now that my kids are all adults, and then if in-law kids are there, I'm not going to tell them what they can do. They can keep their earbuds in the whole time and listen to what they want to listen to. But I have taken a mother-daughter trip, and I've taken a trip with my son when we drove up to Mayo. And we did listen to podcasts. And one of our favorite one when we're together as a family is Stuff You Should Know. Have you ever listened to that?
Oh, no.
I've listened to it a couple times. Yeah.
I'm taking notes.
So it's just kind of trivial information, but very in depth on a subject. So we kind of pick out and line up those podcasts. And I also like to listen to music that I've never heard before. So Molly will play her playlist. Then I get to hear new music that I haven't heard. And then I'll play mine. And she actually liked some of my music. On that trip, I was the driver, but she navigated, and that was fun,
Oh, good.
And then our last family trip together with just the original 5 was our 25th anniversary to Yosemite. Yes, we took our kids on our 25th anniversary. I wanted it that way because I knew what was coming next, that Molly was going to get married. And this is just my best trip memory ever. We were leaving a viewing area of this gorgeous mountain at sunset, driving through the park, just the most incredible scenery. And we had a 70s and 80s playlist.
I love it.
My kids grew up on oldies radio, so they knew all the songs, and we're all singing along. And I still hear those songs, still have that playlist, and I play it all the time when I'm driving. And I can still picture the exact mountain we were looking at when we drove past with this song. And I think about even the conversations we were having, like just that song brings it back. Having a playlist for your trip is kind of neat because it'll bring back those memories.
I love that.
Yeah, we do tend to listen to music in the car now with our older kids and sing along. And I just feel like a lot of times we don't listen to anything and we just talk. So many meaningful conversations as your kids get older happen in a car. It's like all of a sudden they'll bring up topics, like tell me how the Federal Reserve works, or, things even just in life that they've been wondering about. How does a mortgage work? And all of a sudden you'll be talking about things that you would have never talked about if you were sitting in your living room.
Yes. Hey, and that's what Stuff You Should Know. They answer things like that.
Yes.
Like, how does a mortgage work? That's how they title their show.
All right. Well, family vacations can definitely be fun. And we definitely want to do them, but they can also be expensive. And depending on the size of your family, they could be really expensive.
Right.
So let's talk about how we can save money on some specific things. And I'm not super great about tips on this, but I'm hoping that maybe you guys have some to share. So let's take your lodging, like where you're going to stay. Do you guys have any tips on how to get good deals?
We absolutely love Airbnb. In fact, I almost never stay in a hotel unless I absolutely have to because I hate them. If you're waiting on someone to get ready or whatever, you're sitting on a bed. That's it. You don't want to sit on the floor, and there's usually one hard chair. We have discovered Airbnb, and almost everywhere we go, we use it. And it's really good if you need multiple hotel rooms, because say you find a good deal on a hotel room, but you need 2 or 3, then it's no longer such a great deal. But a house or an apartment, usually you can get a 2 or 3 bedroom, and it's still cheaper than the hotel room. I promise you, it's It's not that it's always cheap, but I'm saying if you're taking 6 or 7 people on a trip, it is cheaper than a hotel.
Sure.
Than having to get multiple rooms. And it's so much more comfortable. It's more private. Everybody has their own room. Often it's closer to what you want to do. Maybe you could walk to it. You can check to see if they have a place to park your car, so it'd be free parking instead of at a hotel garage. And you kind of get to see how people really live in that city. And often you'll meet the owners. Maybe they live next door or across the street. And we just like that aspect of it. If you're staying in a house with a kitchen, we'll go to the grocery and cook breakfast and pack lunches. So you can save on food by doing it that way too.
So I was curious, how do you pick a good Airbnb? Because there's a lot out there. So I have the app on my phone, and I've done Airbnb a couple of times, but how do you know it's a good one?
Well, one thing I like to look for is a superhost. They can get rated a superhost, and that means they've rented their home X number of times within a year and gotten 5-star ratings every time. So if you have a superhost, you can just almost be guaranteed.
Oh, good to know.
Are the superhosts more expensive?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. And I have rented plenty that aren't superhosts. And I've rented some that only had 1 review before, and it turned out awesome. You're just kind of taking a chance on that. But
have you ever rented one that you were like, ooh, this was bad?
Never a bad one. The only ones that we don't like is we've stayed in Airbnbs down at Disney World. And they tend to be more like you're renting VRBOs. Like they don't live in these homes. They've just bought these condos and rent them out. There's nothing personal in them.
Okay.
It's not their home.
I see.
And we found that to be pretty consistent in Orlando.
Okay.
But other places, you are usually in someone's home that they are out of, or they live in part of the time, or,
Right.
Okay.
And I think it's kind of funny. Growing up, we were told never go into a stranger's house and never get into a stranger's car. And now we're staying in Airbnbs and taking Ubers.
Oh, my goodness.
We're doing the things our parents told us never to do. And now we're so comfortable with all of that.
Right.
Yeah. How about you, Mindy? Do you have any tips for how you decide where you're going to stay?
So my parents have a blue-green timeshare.
Okay.
And so they have, for years, they have given us a week kind of anywhere we can get a place. A lot of times we've been able to go to one of their timeshare places for free because they've given it to us. And so obviously that's a really good deal. Circumstance. Yeah, that's a really great deal. But also, I was just going to say, if you go into it with like a set of friends, if you rent a house or something like that, then sometimes going with a set of friends, you can each offset it. If you're able to go in an off season, like if you're a homeschool mom, or if you can take, different times of the year, maybe not in the best season. And
that's
then
a great way to do it.
Also, don't stay as long. I know that seems silly to say that, but as our kids get older and we do have more people working in the house, they can't get off for as long or something like that. So we take kind of more trips, but smaller trips. We will go to the places maybe that we want to go, but just not stay as long. And obviously those are more local trips.
Yeah. I've not used Airbnb. I've used VRBO several times, and I've always been mostly happy. Sometimes I feel like the pictures could have been updated and it may have looked like that 5 years ago, but now it's had 5 years worth of wear. And so I think sometimes their pictures are a little out of date. I know my parents have had a lot of luck with booking.com. And they have booked hotel rooms all over the country. And it's basically like, I think you type in what you're looking for, and then you may not even know what the hotel is, but it's met those requirements. And then you get a really good deal on hotels that need to fill rooms. So they've really enjoyed booking.com. And they've even used that in Ireland and other places.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if our listeners have tried any of that, but we'd be totally interested in any tips that listeners have.
We have used Airbnb in Europe. And that sounds scary, to some people thinking, oh, well, what if it turns out bad? But we've not had any problems. And those have been just the best ones we've had.
Oh, I bet. Because then you really are seeing how they live.
Yeah. So this Paris apartment that looks just like you think it will,
Oh, that's cool.
Meet the owner. They help you. And a lot of times they'll leave you things in the fridge or they've baked something for you. I mean, it's really, it can be really personal. They'll leave you enough for breakfast the first day or bottled water in the fridge, just to get you started. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What are some tips that you guys have for getting places cheaply? So I know my daughter uses this Southwest app that I forgot to ask her before we started recording, but I'll try and put it in the show notes. It's basically, she's flown from Tennessee to Colorado for like $50 each way, like just really
like
cheap.
The best deals.
Yes, if you go like when they're offering. But what do you have for us, Julie?
We use a Southwest Visa card or rewards card.
Those are
great.
And
so we pretty much just buy everything on that card. And it's a credit card, but we pay it off every month. But we're getting the points, basically living our life on this card. And then John flies enough that I am his companion flyer. So I fly free anytime he flies. So then that's only
one ticket
going with this ticket or just his. Yeah. And so we almost always have enough points for something. And we do road trips as well. And then once we get there, we love trying to figure out public transportation like subways.
Right.
That's our favorite way to get around. And we don't mind Ubering.
Yes. My daughter just told me about a new program, Turo, and I'm not sure how it's spelled, but I'll try to link to it in our show notes. I'm guessing it's probably Turro, but it's a cheap way to rent cars. It's basically like Airbnb for cars. So like private people that aren't needing to use their car that week will put it up, and then you can say, well, I want to rent that. And the advantage it is for her is because I think if you're like under 25, the rental companies really charge you a hefty penalty for renting cars. But with the Turo, kids that aren't 25 yet have an ability to rent cars.
Well, that's good.
Which isn't that really cool? Like, I think that's such a great idea.
Yeah. Well, like both of our kids couldn't even go someplace on their honeymoon that involved a car because none of them were old enough to rent a car. So they went on cruises or, they went places, Disney World, that they didn't need a car. Seems like if you're married, you should be able to rent a car.
Yeah. Well, once you get somewhere, how do you try to save money? I love Groupons. I don't really use Groupon. I don't really use Groupon in my everyday life anymore. I mean, that was all the rage a few years ago. And then I got so many emails. I was like, unsubscribe. But I will resubscribe when I'm on vacation sometimes. Yeah. Like we wanted to do an escape room in Las Vegas. So I just got on the local Groupon and found a Groupon and took it to that place while we were there and used it. And it was great.
That's good.
That was the first thing I wrote down was Groupon. Yeah, for vacations, because it also shows you what you can do in the area. So like, even if you're trying to research an area, sometimes it's fun to go look at Groupon to see, well, what are they offering? Oh, I didn't know I could do that there.
Now, do you have to wait till you get there to go on, or could you look at each city from where you are?
I think you could look where you are now.
There's an app. And so just get the app and then you just type in the city that you want to look at. Yeah, it's very easy to navigate. Another thing that we like to do is I always research online before we go free things to do in the area. Yeah. And so, because we love to just be outside too. So you're not going to always want to be in a place, doing something. Like you're going to need some downtime. We always look for
parks or
a nice park. Yeah. Even at the beach, going to a state park is a beautiful place to go and kind of explore. That's calming, relaxing. And it's like $6 for the whole van to go in and park,
Yes.
And some museums are free on certain days or
That's
after certain
right.
hours.
That's
So you
right.
can kind of coordinate your trip that way. And then if you're in a city, a lot of times there are those city passes.
Yes.
So if you know you want to hit these museums and
Right.
take this tour, and those are usually pretty good deals.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes places you can bargain. Like if you're in San Francisco and you want to take a tour of Alcatraz, and there's probably like 6 little sidewalk stands selling the same trip.
Okay.
Well, go ahead and bargain with them. My kids, when we went to Cancun, they wanted to swim with the dolphins, and it is expensive. This was like their one activity that they wanted to do. Well, we went around to kiosk, trying to decide what to do. And we finally, who knows if you even are getting a good deal. They probably bargain with everyone, but at least don't take the price that they have initially advertised. See if you can get them down.
Especially in
a
foreign country.
Yes, or if you're at a beach vacation, you want to do the parasailing. Well, don't just go to the first guy offering parasailing. Say, hey, I just went to the one down the beach and they're charging this. Will you do it for that? And a lot of times they will, because they're all competing for the same customers. All right, food. What do you guys do for saving money on food? Because I hate spending money on food when I could spend it on activities.
Right. You just eat Cliff Bars and go on.
Right. That's how I would be fine to live on vacation.
No, I do enjoy the food. I jokingly talked about the Cliff Bars, but you obviously know that food is very important to me on trips. So I research a lot of that before I go. But we found like eating local and eating street foods is really what we like. We don't want to go sit at a really fancy restaurant. It doesn't have to be fancy to be good. And we will eat breakfast at our house, pack our lunch, and then maybe just eat one meal. That's how we did Europe. We said we're going to eat one meal a day together that's nice. And then everything else could be snacks or street food or however you want to do it.
Breakfast is the most enjoyable meal for me, but also one of the most overpriced meals if you have to go out to eat it every day.
Yes.
And I am a proponent of I have to have breakfast every single day. And so we definitely try to do all of breakfast at home. And then we learned early on that it's cheaper to go out for lunch than it is for dinner.
Yes.
So we will definitely try to go to lunch. Like if we want to go to this great seafood restaurant, well, we try to do that earlier in the day. Plus, I mean, then you're not dealing with the crowds of people going at night. So we do kind of look at the whole time that we're going to be at a place and kind of plan. Since we're doing this activity, we're going to be out at that time. So that night, it makes sense for us to eat out because we're going to be too far away to come back to the room. But otherwise, we do try to plan for meals in our room or just lighter meals.
Yes.
Well, that's true. Like at Disney, it's very hard to get in a restaurant at 7 or 8 o'clock. But at 3 o'clock, they're more open. And you get the same food, and then you're not so full at night, and you still have the night free to
you can go get ice cream.
Yeah.
I was going to say ice cream is so expensive too that actually this is one of the things I thought about. It is a lot cheaper to just get your ice cream at a grocery store, though. Our family still has to go to an ice cream shop at least once or twice. If
we do
we're
too.
Especially at the beach. You have to go. But we do buy different types of foods while we're in our house.
For beach vacations, we try to do like beach foods. Like I'll only buy popcorn shrimp when we're at the beach. And I'll make that for lunch in the rental. Like there's certain things that we only eat when we're at the beach. And so the kids have come to expect that, and it makes it more fun. Such as peanut butter and fluff sandwiches. Fluffer nutters.
My kids had never had that. And that's just one of our fun memories of the beach with the Paragos. So we have white bread with peanut butter and marshmallow fluff.
And that's the only time we eat that, Julie. I'll even bring it back home from vacation, because some of the fluff will still be left. And it will sit in my pantry until I throw it away because nobody wants to eat it at home. But for some reason at the beach, we all like it.
The scary thing is it would probably last till your next beach vacation.
Oh, probably.
Oh my goodness. I always buy one of those big ham, cheese, and cracker trays that we can pull out at any time.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
And then I buy a big veggie tray. Like if there's a Costco where you're going,
perfect
to get one of the big veggie trays, and then I get all the sugar cereal.
Yes, everybody can have sugar cereal.
The bad sugar cereal. We buy popsicles. We buy Pop-Tarts. Toaster strudels. all the yummy stuff. We'll buy
Yes.
soda, whereas before, like we usually don't buy soda.
We will go to the grocery at the beginning, and we do tend to buy more junky stuff like popsicles
Right.
and candy stuff. One nice thing is if they have a Kroger or Publix or Walmart, you can pre-order your groceries
Great
and then
idea.
they're ready, because that is, to me, that's the worst chore is
That-
after you've driven 9
Yes.
hours and then going in
Mhm.
that crowded grocery store.
It's horrible.
Yes.
So I make my list up and then it's ready, when you
Oh,
get there.
Julie, you just like saved my life. I'm so excited that you just told me that. I
Yes.
didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That is perfect. And another thing, Julie, that I got from you is loosely plan the meals that you're going to make in. And if there are spices or one-time only use items that you could
Right.
just bring from your
I bring
pantry,
them.
olive oil or something like that, rather than having to re-buy all that at the beach and then
Right.
bring it all back home. Just
yeah,
bring
like
it with you.
$6 spices or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I'll make my menu out and then, maybe have like a little laundry basket and I just start putting the food in,
Right.
the non-perishables that can go.
Another advantage of having older kids with you is this past time when we went to the beach between Christmas and New Year's, my son's fiance went and my daughter's husband went. So I put my son and his fiance and my daughter and her husband in charge of, I don't know if they each had 1 or 2 meals. Anyways, it was awesome. They had to think of what they were going to have, get the ingredients, make it. And then I'm not stuck trying to think of, well, what does everybody like? Hey, if they picked it, they must like it. It just made life so much easier.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a nice experience for them too.
Yes.
I love that. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Because we all know that planning is the hard part.
it
It
is.
is.
It
It is.
is.
It's not as much fun for some people.
All right. Well, what are some things? Because I know vacation can be expensive, but there are definitely some things that are worth splurging on. What do you guys think are some things that are worth splurging on vacation?
Experiences.
Yes.
Experiences of doing things and seeing things that you cannot possibly see anywhere else, something you haven't done any other time. Or if somebody in your family has something kind of on their bucket list,
Mhm.
like you said, your girls really wanted to swim with dolphins. So
Mhm.
I just think that you look at the area you're going and you say, well, what is this area known for? We need to do that. We need to experience that. And then what does everybody want to do? And we kind of make a list, of what does everybody want to do? What do you want to experience, see, eat even? Restaurants can be on that.
Mhm.
So yeah, we definitely pay for those things. The
Yeah.
memory making experiences.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I do think that the meals can be really bonding experiences and can also be great memories.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you eat out at some places that you're not too crazy about so that you can afford to eat later
Mhm.
at some place that you really are looking forward to, or you really want to try the food that the place is famous for.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I say on a cruise, it's worth it to splurge for the balcony, like on the back
Oh.
of the
Oh,
boat.
definitely.
It's worth it to get a nicer room sometimes if it has a better view, because then that's your morning, your night, you're going to sleep looking at that, you're waking up looking at that. If you can somehow splurge and get a place that you love coming and going from, it is totally worth it.
Yeah. And you have to consider you're already spending a certain level of money to
You
get
are.
there. Sometimes if you don't do certain things right, you've almost wasted that money.
It's true.
Right.
You know,
Right.
For me, I think experiences is a good one. I like to splurge on those things. But for me, it might be the location, like the house we stay in or
Oh.
where it is. Is it close to things we want to do? Does it look like what people in the area would really live in? I like to spend a little extra on that. Something I don't like to spend money on is a travel agent. I like to do all that. I think it's fun to research it myself and plan it months in advance. One thing we do splurge for is trip insurance if it's a big trip. Like if it's a trip to Europe and we've planned it 8 months ago and things had to be prepaid, we will buy
Right.
that because it's really pretty cheap.
Okay.
Because if there was a death in the family or
Oh, sure.
sickness,
Mhm.
you would just hate to. It's hard 8 months prior
yeah,
to
you
laying
can't
down all
know.
this money. Yeah, so we always
Right.
do that.
Another thing that we will splurge on are traditions. You know,
Mhm.
when we go to the beach in particular, because the beach is really the only thing we go back to multiple times. When you're going to
Mhm.
different cities, you're going to probably just go once or twice in the kid's lifetime. But the beach is something that you might do multiple times. And like my kids always want to go to this certain snow cone place. And their
Right.
snow cones are a little overpriced, but they
It's
want
tradition.
to go there, and that's tradition. So
Right.
I'll say, you know, we're definitely at least going once, and perhaps later in the week, if we feel like we haven't spent a ton of money, we might go twice. But we're at least going to do the one time, and we're going to get dressed, and we're going to go to make an evening of it. You know, it's in a little
Right.
town, and like it's going to be something special. Or like when the Kings and I, we used to go, we'd always go go-karting. Well, I'd never go go-karting in Nashville. I'm only going to go use the go-karts at the beach. So whatever it costs is what it costs,
that
because that's the
strange?
only time I'm going to do it.
That's what I was going to bring up. Is that's one of our traditions. Is we have a go-kart battle. We have a competition every year. It's the Silman family go-kart battle. Who's going to win and come in first?
Oh, I could
And
see some
so-
blood in that.
There was a little blood one time.
And mini golf. You can't forget mini golf.
Yes, mini golf. Yes.
Do you realize how expensive to go?
I
Like
know.
take your family to go putt-putt.
It's
mini golf?
expensive, yes.
It is.
We
Go-kart,
we
you're
only
like-
ever rediscovered that on vacation because we never go at
Right.
home.
You forget how expensive it is. Like, really? It's like $100.
Yes. Yes. But we will splurge on it, particularly on beach vacations, because those are the only activities that you're really doing other than the beach. And that's
It's
what they
true.
remember. So anyway, so yeah, I definitely think splurging on experiences, we can all agree, is what makes the trip fun.
Oh, yes.
All right. Well, listeners, we just have a couple other fun things that we wanted to talk about. So Mindy brought up, what are your thoughts on vacationing with other families?
We love doing that. I think our first vacation with other families was with the Paragos. We started going to the beach with them. And that was a tradition for about
7 years or
5
something.
or 7 years?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a lot.
Yeah, so that's fun. And we've taken trips to Disney with at least 4 other families, 4 different occasions. We went to Europe 2 years ago with another family, and we've shared, some really great Airbnb homes with them because there were 6 of us. So it was so much cheaper to stay in one
Mhm.
home. And it was just fun eating our meals together. And, you just really get to know that family really well. And there's one couple we go to New York City with a lot. That's fun. I like it.
I think it's fun too. I think it can enhance your experience and your kids' experiences. They have more people to talk to. You tend to do different things. Like maybe I wouldn't have thought of going go-karting at the beach, but then we went so many times with the Kings that then when we went to the beach by ourselves, the kids still want to do it. Like other families will bring other traditions that you then say, oh, that was fun. Let's incorporate that.
Yeah. And you might do things that you were afraid to do. Like in Europe, we were with somebody that was very comfortable. And so we drove our own car.
Mm.
And probably on our own, we wouldn't have done that the first time.
Mhm.
Wow.
I think it's a very unique experience and it is a lot of fun. And I think that if you have the opportunity to do it, you definitely should.
Right. I know we have always shied away from it. Like
Okay.
we were always nervous about like, well, especially when the kids were little. We
Mm.
thought, nap times and gosh, like our family's crazy. We just don't feel like we want to put ourselves on and somebody else is like stress them out or whatever. I also don't feel like I fully get my own family if we go with somebody else. So I'll say like selfishly as a mother, I don't feel like we've had family vacation unless we've gone by ourselves. Like we have to have an alone vacation, just the 6 of us. Now until, we start adding in other members of the family. But we have learned in recent years that we really enjoy going on smaller trips with friends. And there's this one set of friends that we do get along with so well. And so we have done more things with them. And so it's kind of opened up our horizons like, oh, okay, like we really enjoy doing vacations with them. And, and then we have like game nights with them, which is just so fun. It's like moms have the kids one night so the dads can go do something fun, and dads have the kids one night so moms can go do something fun. Like it's just, there's different.
I think
things
there
you can do.
definitely different experiences. Like I would say, like if that's going to be the only time you ever get away, the 1 week a year, probably don't go with another family.
Right.
Because if you are going to get away at other times with just your family, then add in going with other people because that's a new dimension. It's fun. Right. So they're really two different kinds of experiences. They both have their benefits.
They do.
You also learn new TV shows from the families you go with.
Yes, it's true.
That's where we discovered The Middle. I just remember what we would watch the whole season we would come in from the beach and fix lunch and we'd watch a Middle or Monk at night.
Right.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah. So what are some things that are different? This is kind of what we'll end on, but how are family vacations different as older kids move out and maybe can't come due to college or work?
Well, I'll start since I do have the youngest older kids is how I'll put that of the three of us. A couple of years ago was the first time we were going to go to the beach for spring break like we always did as a family. And that's when the youth went on their missions trip to Germany. And so Abby signed up for that. And I was just so sad. I was so sad that first time that I thought we're going to Florida and I'm with all these boys. Of course, that is now my reality all the time. But then it was like, then it just really opened my eyes. And the next year was Abby and Grant went on missions trips over spring break. And I thought, we only have 2 kids. Wow. Like this is easier. It's cheaper. Like we're a normal American family of 4.
Yeah.
We fit in, like we could fit in a smaller table.
What did they think about it?
They were having blasts, and Jacob and Nathan loved all the attention. Thankfully, they still had each other. When there's just one left, I think that will be hard, if they don't have somebody else.
Right.
And so we learned real quick that it's cheaper. You get around easier. People can kind of do more what they want to do because you can handle it and afford it a little bit better. So I don't know. I think I enjoy it when we're all together, but I think I'm going to really enjoy the times when I have snippets with this child and with this set and, different variations of our family. I can see the benefit.
In my ideal world, I want everybody to be there all the time for the whole time. And I remember the first year our son didn't get to come on vacation because of his job. And, I just didn't even want to go. But we went, it's still important. We have other kids that, and a husband that needs to be away. So we went and it was sad, but we still try to do it every year and at least give them an opportunity for us all to be together. And this year we'll be at the beach, but I've also started doing one-on-one trips with my daughter. So that's a fun way to kind of make up. And our big trip, our son's going on, our youngest will be with us. So, it changes, but it's okay too,
Yeah, I thought that it's hard. I feel like my younger 3, like when we've gone on spring break, I think ever since the older kids started college, they've never lined up. So spring break trip is always just with the 3 younger ones. And I don't think that they have as good a time without their older siblings. Yeah. They don't really want to spend that much time with each other. The 3 younger ones, they'd rather spend it with the older ones because the older ones make it cooler, more fun. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I would say that is definitely a dynamic. Now, we still go on vacation. And like this past spring vacation, just my 2 youngest, the twins went. And it was just the 4 of us, which was good in some aspects. But I really feel like the twins even missed having a larger group. I think you get used to traveling with the large group that offers like constant fun. Definitely the pictures aren't the same. Like some people are missing. Yeah. Sometimes you don't even really feel like taking pictures.
I was going to say so that many people are going to be missing. I was like, when one kid's missing or 2 kids are missing, I'm like, oh, we can't take pictures. They're not here. I'm like, no, you still have to take pictures.
Yes, you still have to take them, but they feel weird. I think the inside jokes and the reminiscing isn't the same. And sometimes the traditional activities can feel empty. Like maybe don't try and do the things that you always did with all the group because it's not going to feel the same. And it really highlights the fact that there are people missing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go-karting
it's
with just the
true.
4 of you is probably not going to be the same because it's not so much the activity that's fun. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because like you said, you wouldn't do go-karting here in Nashville because it's just not that fun.
Right. Right.
It's about the competition and the,
It's
you
true.
know,
It's all about
yeah.
the competition.
Yes. So I think especially those first few years after your older kids have started to go to college, maybe pick different places to go. Maybe not the
Right.
places that you usually go so they can make
Right.
new memories. But we don't want to end on a bad note because family vacation in general is awesome. And it's
That's right.
important to take them, even
Yes.
if you rent a small cabin at a state park 45 minutes from your house. I would
Yeah.
still say go for it.
It's
Do it.
worth it.
Turn
Put the
those
time,
cell
the money.
phones off and go all in.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
All
Well, this
right.
has been fun. I've enjoyed our conversation and I've learned some things from you guys.
Yes. And listeners, if you go anywhere cool, feel free to tag us on Instagram. We'd love to see your family vacations.
That's right. We'll live vicariously through them.
All right. We'll talk to you girls next week.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Friends, we're so glad you joined us today. If you enjoy Midlife Matters, we hope you'll tell a friend. Show them how to find us on their phone and hit the free subscribe button so that they never miss an episode. They can also download and listen to each episode right from our website, midlifematterspodcast.com. We'd love to hear from you. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Midlife Matters Podcast. You can also email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you back here next Wednesday. Bye.